everybody! I hope you enjoyed the weekend. I'm going to make this video on the topic of soulmates. This is often entering into my world. People want to know how they can connect with their soulmate. People want to know about their twin flame. People want to know more about this subject because it's a conversation about love. It's a conversation about a deep soul-felt connection. We all want a deep soul-felt connection. This world, in its natural balance, we would feel that with each other each and every day. We would feel that with the planet, we would feel that with the stars, we would feel that with the animals. But the way that our experience is designed, we're not open to feeling that type of intimate love with each other. We're only open to feeling that type of intimate love with what is a specific frequency, a specific bonded connection that goes, mind-blowingly out of this world. The reality is, on our planet, we're all soulmates. I'm your soulmate, you're my soulmate, everybody is soulmates. There's 8 billion soulmates. However many billions of people are on the planet, we're all soulmates of each other. We all came to this earth to explore who and what we are through the human conscious experience, but there's bigger umbrella aspects of this journey that we're all interlinked, interconnected with. We're all in this thing together. So we don't usually see each other as soulmates. Like if you were to walk into the grocery store, you walk into Walmart, and every single person in Walmart is your soulmate. Have you ever taken the time to actually look at every single person you see walking down the street, driving, in that jerk that just cut you off, like driving along the road? Every single one of them is a soulmate. People who support the opposite team, the team that you hate, they're all your soulmates. We're all each other's soulmates. So when you start to just simply take a moment to acknowledge that, you'll start to feel more love inside your heart. You'll start to appreciate people more. You'll start to love people that you didn't love before, simply because you're realizing that you're connected with them. It actually is a warmer experience to feel like we're connected with each other than to feel like we're all alone in this world and nobody loves us and there's nobody here for us. So you start by acknowledging that we're all part of each other's lives. We're all soulmates. And now you start to fill your heart with the memory of your soul consciousness, which is infinitely connected, right? All right. So I'm probably going to close my eyes here and there because I want to also talk about the soulmate that people are looking for, the powerful, flaming hot love that we're all looking for, right? So just a moment here, I'm just sort of rebalancing myself so I can continue with the conversation. I'm talking to my spirit guides about this as well. So this is an important topic because a lot of people do feel they feel like if they were to meet their one true love, their one true sort of fairy tale dream companion, that all their pains and sorrows will go away. That their life will finally be in balance, and that no matter what happens, they have each other, and so everything is going to be perfect now. One side of the conversation is the fairy tale dream conversation, but not taking into the reality that the soul came here for learning. The soul came here to overcome its vulnerabilities to become more extraordinary, right? We're also not taking into the reality that soulmate connections, they might start out as a fairy tale, but then you have to start working on each other. So if you're married for 40 years, you'll discover that marriages aren't always easy. They don't always remain fairy tales forever, because part of that gift is working through life challenges together, supporting each other, and sometimes feeling totally on different pages and not being supportive of each other, or not hearing each other, or not helping each other in ways that you need to. So we have to sort of look at the bigger picture about what love is all about. Whether you have a bonded companion or not, you are working with people, you are working on yourself. And so life is about working with all the soulmates that exist on the planet in order to better yourself. This is all the sort of I want to barf type conversation about soulmates, because it's not the fun lovey-dovey conversation about soulmates. It's more of like the real reality of life here on earth, and we're working on ourselves, right? So entering into more of the lovey-dovey side of this conversation, how are you to truly find a balanced companion if you yourself are not balanced? So you want somebody to love you, but you're not ready to love yourself, right? You want somebody to be the perfect person for you so that now you might be inspired through that loving interaction to become a better person. So you're not actually going to change until you find somebody who changes you. A lot of people who want their soulmate, they don't want to work on themselves. They just want somebody to sit by them, to watch a movie with them, to go to bed with them at night. But they're missing the bigger picture. We're talking about development. And if you're not ready to work on yourself, you're going to manifest a relationship that's going to be out of balance. So truly, to connect with your soulmate, you need to start working on yourself. Make yourself the awesomest version that you can be and give that as a gift to the one that you want in the future, to meet in the future. So that way when you both meet, you're both connected and in balance, frequency-wise balance, right? So just a moment here, I'm going to relax. There's so many things to say on this conversation, it's really hard to get my ducks in a row because there's so many different realities in the interactions, the bigger picture of soulmates. There's so many realities about this. Where would I even begin to talk about this? So just a moment here, I'm connecting with my spirit guides. They're taking me into a scene where things get more peaceful, where things start to fill in with meaning. I see billions of people on a planet that were all singled out and individuals. And now there's some sort of a liquid energy that is filling in the blanks. And so people are starting to feel each other because they're starting to feel connected with each other. It's sort of like an interesting pinkish sparkly liquid. It's kind of like a mold. And people are starting to feel connected with each other through they're all sorting. It's like a jello, and the people are like the party jello, you know, with like grapes and like mixed fruit in it or something. So it's like a jello mold, and people are like the fruits on the inside. So we're all sort of connected to each other through the jello. So we're like the random party mix of fruits on the inside of the jello. Nothing about jello is delicious. I've never liked jello. And in fact, jello that has like canned fruit in it, it just totally destroys the whole experience for me. So the fact that they're using this is just like kind of a hysterical moment because I'm just like, what? Like, we're the party fruits inside the jello? None of this is right. This is so wrong right now. But this is what they're saying. The jello is what connects us all together. It's the jello. But we are happy inside of it. It's turning into a vibrant red jello, and we're starting to feel connected with each other because the jello fills in the blanks. They want to ask you, what is jello a metaphor for? Do you know what jello actually means in this in this journey? They're giving you a hint. It's love. Love is what fills in the blanks and helps us feel connected with each other. So if we aren't feeling love, then we'll never feel connected with each other. So are you feeling love inside yourself? Or are you feeling not love? And if you're feeling not love, oftentimes people who feel not love start to separate and withdraw from the world. People who are depressed feel the not love, and they feel not loved or not understood or not seen, and they feel the deep sorrow of that. They feel a deep sorrow, and it comes from all different types of reasons, but the deep sorrow then sort of disconnects us from the mold, from the jello, from the love of all, so we feel lost inside of ourselves instead of connected with the world around us. They're saying when you are in love, you start to be at peace with all the people in your life. You start to be accepting of all of the quote-unquote soulmates that just cut you off on your drive to work. Like we start to discover that we are all awesome and it doesn't matter because we're all connected to the jello of love, right? And so when we feel the love inside our hearts, we start to appreciate everybody more. We start to be more kind. We'll keep the door open for people. We'll say please and thank you. We'll smile more. We take the time to smell the roses. So the more love we feel inside of ourselves, ourselves, the more connected and at peace we are with the rest of the world. But the more that we are sort of separated from the jello, from the love, the more we withdraw, and we start to feel like nobody gets us, nobody understands us. They're saying a lot of people in this world feel that way to a degree. That's why we are not choosing to feel interconnected with each other, and we don't choose to see each other, everybody on the planet, as a soulmate. Aha, there's something happening on the planet here. I'm seeing the planet in the mold, the jello, and we're like the party fruit. There's like a blinking gold light. Some of the human beings are blinking gold at different places in the globe. There's a star that is happening, a sort of a star, right, like kind of in their forehead and above their forehead at the same time. It's just like a golden star, and they're blinking, and I see people blinking all across the world, and their heart inside themselves is blinking. They feel sort of a suffocation, a starvation, a hunger, an insatiable starvation for connection. I'm starting to see more blinking lights at different places. People are waking up to the longing in their soul for a connected other, another that is on the same wavelength. We have a lot of soulmates on the planet, but we're not all on the same wavelength, are we? And that's another reason why it's hard for us to feel connected with everybody, because we feel like we're in our own wavelength. They remind us again that when we feel the love inside ourselves, we start to connect with all the wavelengths, and that's why we feel accepting of each other. When we're in love, everything just seems to be at peace. We accept everything on the planet because love is what helps us feel infinitely connected to all wavelengths. But when we're not in love inside of our hearts or inside ourselves, we feel disconnected, and we can only feel our own wavelength, which then often is in hurts or in pains, and isn't our natural true light frequency. So are you being truly yourself right now? Are you being your true light frequency, or are you sort of tainted by your life journey? That's the question. When your light starts to blink, you have an insatiable hunger, but who are you? Do you even know yourself when the light starts to blink? And you hunger for another that is on the same wavelength as you. Do you want them to be on the same wavelength as you? If you are not in balance with who and what you are, your most purest essence identity, you will find somebody who too is on the same wavelength. So they will be working on themselves at the same level that you two are working on yourself. Every single soul on this planet is a soulmate, so you could potentially connect with anybody. But we're talking about wavelengths and what our true sort of life purpose or life identity is all about. So anybody could potentially be on the same wavelength as you, but we're looking at intimate connection. But we're also looking at what are you, who are you, or what are you balanced with inside yourself. Just a moment. They're saying that human beings want to grow in the frequency of love. Love is where simplicity and joy and happiness, fruitfulness, creative expression lie. And souls long for that. That's very natural, because souls long to have a piece of heaven inside of their life. And the soulmate then becomes that piece of heaven that they're longing for. They want to remember heaven, and so they want to remember heaven through your eyes. So when you have a soulmate connection, you are learning and discovering heaven through each other's eyes. But that's just the frequency of love we're talking about. What about the human? They're showing me what is a human being who is just very lonely feeling. So this human being is feeling there's just a deepness that they feel. And they're showing me a day-to-day routine that is sort of in suffering because it doesn't remind them of the true light within themselves. So they're looking for somebody who reminds them how to be themselves, how to be the true light within themselves. Why is this human being not able to be the true light within themselves on their own? How come this soul has not learned how to be the true light within itself on its own? How come it needs another soul in order to remind it who and what it is? How come it can't remind itself who and what it is and become empowered through self-discovery, through choices to make the self better? Instead, it lacks the ambition or the motivation to try. It just wants heaven to give it that which it wants, a soulmate. They want to know how many people on the planet right now do you think are like this? They just want to fall in love, but they don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to discover that they are powerful, that they can be empowered to conquer their own life experiences, their own shortcomings, their own everything. They just simply want to fall in love. They're desperate to fall in love. Love will fix everything for me. Love will heal everything for me. Love will give me somebody to fall asleep with at night. That's all I need. I just want somebody in my life. We're talking about desperation now. This isn't just the blinking light, the insatiable longing for a soulmate. This is now turning into an obsession or a desperation. I have to find someone. I have to find my soulmate in order to be happy. This is a huge manipulative lie. Do you have to find your soulmate in order to be happy? That's the question. There's a very long pause here as we're looking at the people on the planet. The people who are wanting to know how to find their soulmate. They're wanting to explore this conversation. They say we're getting away from the remembrance of the jello. We're starting to lose track of what life is all about, and it's about the love that connects us with each other. We can define that love as finding our soulmate, or I'm finally home so I can watch Game of Thrones, or I just won $100. I'm gonna go buy myself that awesome thing I always wanted. Whatever it is, we can define love in all kinds of different ways. Superficial ways. Even finding a soulmate can be superficial if we are not choosing to discover the true essence of our identity, becoming truly ourselves, our true self. Do you know who you truly are? Do you feel that you are working in alignment with who and what you truly are deep down inside? Are you working with the frequency of love? Or are you just wanting something that's going to make it all the sadness and all the pain go away? This is a very harsh conversation, but this is also the hard reality of it too. Heaven is asking me a question. They're wanting me to know if everybody on this planet had a soulmate that they were living with. Do you think that would solve all the world's problems? They show me companions with smiley faces, only for so long before they have to start working on themselves and each other, and now the relationship gets difficult. Do you think the earth world right now is prepared for a fairy tale connections? Every single person Do you think that the world is ready for that type of love where we see it as being perfect? A perfect world, perfect happiness, where there is no such thing as learning about ourselves or each other. We just live in the bliss of love, and there is nothing else. Gosh, this channeling is getting more and more intense. There's so much anger going on with this conversation. The whole earth is sort of opening up and showing like a black hole inside itself, a black hole of emptiness and death and decay and chaos and misery and suffering and sorrow and depression and suicide. I mean, every sick and twisted, miserable thought of I do not feel loved today gets stored inside the planet. The planet just looks entirely rotted out. It's just rotted out. There's so many very fast-moving scenes of screaming, of abuse, of rape, of anger, hatred, choking. These are the way soulmates treat each other on your planet when they don't get their way. Soulmates hurt each other on your planet when they don't get their way. They put guilt trips on you. They beat you. They make you feel ugly or filthy or disgusting. They encourage you to go drink and just drink your cares away. There's even what is like a conversation about sexuality because there's extreme sexual imbalances in relationships on a regular basis. It's interesting because the speakers here are they're various different speakers. Some of them are like alien frequencies, some of them are like my higher self, some are like my spirit guides, that they're all different perceptions going on here and sharing in the conversation. We're talking about soulmates. We're talking about the broader picture of the reality of soulmates. And people just simply want to be loved. But love is not easy on your planet. Why is love not easy on your planet? If you can't simply get into the jello mold of love and enjoy each and every day, then how will you be at peace with your fairy tale lover for 40, 50, 60 years down the road? Oh man, this is harsh. I mean, it's almost like feeling all of the tears and the cries and the suffering of our world. It's all in my gut. It makes me feel horrible. I mean, it's like all the souls in pain and suffering for one reason or another. Everybody is struggling. So in the end, what is it that we are truly insatiably hungry for is simply a world of love. We want a companion to get through life with us, but we also want a world that embraces us with love and makes us feel loved and makes us feel part of this world. But we also have to embrace each other. If that is what we are truly wanting, is a world of love, then we need to start loving each other too. Because again, we're all soulmates. That's it. That is a very difficult conversation about soulmates. I'm still connected to that, so I'm just disconnecting. I'm a little out of it right now. All right, so there you go. There's some yummy jello cocktail for you to enjoy. And something for you to think about. Different levels of the reality of the world, of longing for love, and a world where we too need to be just at peace and loving each other, but we also need to start working on ourselves too, because true love and balance comes when you are balanced inside yourself, when you are truly being yourself. I guarantee there's people in this world that could look back and say, I'm so glad I didn't meet my soulmate when I was 16. When I was 16, I longed to meet my soulmate, but I was not ready yet. And I wasn't aware of half the things that were going to happen in my life. And I, people even could say I met my soulmate when I was 30 and it was perfect time. Some people could say I've been through 5 divorces and I'm still looking for my soulmate. But you have to ask yourself, what is the bigger picture of this conversation? Is it about love, or is it about learning, soul learning about love? There's so many different perspectives on this conversation, so many different ways that our hearts long for the soulmate connection. And there's so many different ways we can talk about the truth of the bigger picture. So I just didn't want this conversation to be kind of on a negative, like on a kind of sad note, I kind of wanted to talk about maybe an uplifting note, but that's it. That's all I can tell you. Sorry for the dog noises. All right. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in exploring a one-on-one session with me, we can absolutely connect with your soul frequency and get to know your heart and get to know if you're wanting to find your soulmate. We can certainly get to know the bigger picture of what that looks like when it comes to your energy balance and when it comes to all that you are. There's some amazing messages that come through with soulmates, with that type of question. And I would love to explore it with you one-on-one. It's not the same for everybody. Every soul is different. Every soul is uniquely different in a uniquely different place in this world. Different perspective, different feelings, different ready-for-nesses. And so I never know what it's going to look like until I enter your spiritual atmosphere. So if you would like a session to explore it, visit me at my website at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all a wonderful day.